Most of my clients tend to be that recovering nice guy that are really looking for a deep, lasting connection. And so this information is for you if you're finding that's what you really want, and yet connections are fizzling after 1 or 2 dates. Let's dive in. The first thing that I would have you look at if you're struggling to get past that first or second date is what you actually need in order to show up to the date as the most energized, playful, grounded, calm version of yourself. What are some things that bring that out of you? A lot of my clients find that they do a really great job of initiating conversation, asking her out, making the plans, getting there, showing up. And then as soon as the conversation turns a little bit deeper and intimacy is required, it almost creates this like freeze within them. They'll say like, I just lose my confidence, or I don't know what to say. I'm not sure how much to share. And either they end up oversharing and then feeling overly vulnerable, or they find that they kind of freeze and shut down a little bit. If that's you, it's totally fine. But what I would encourage you to look at is what aspects of your life do you fully show up in? When you're out with your friends, when you are at a concert, if you are someone that's a little bit more introverted, what are some of the activities that really help you shine? One of the biggest things that I do with clients is helping you get clear on what you bring to the table so that you naturally show up confidently because you're aware of the things that are really great about you. It takes the comparison out of the game. You don't have to show up as a cookie cutter of someone else. You can actually be fully yourself. And that's naturally going to draw the right people to you who are authentically aligned to that version of you, the one that you would naturally be. So the first thing I would have you get clear on is what environment you want to be creating. As the masculine partner, you're more likely doing the planning and choosing the spot. When I was coaching women, this is what I would have shared with my female clients too, is think about what environments really bring out the best in you and share that information with him. You, planning the date. The same is true for you. If you're someone who is showing up repeatedly, taking a woman to dinner, taking her to drinks, going to coffee, and those environments create a feeling of like, for you, what would it look like if you were to take her to a spot that's a little bit more engaging, playful, interactive? It's likely that you're going to be more forthcoming with the parts of yourself that are naturally engaging and fun and attractive, the sides that your friends get to see. And that would be of service to her to be able to see who you are in real life without this formality. Because you have to remember, she's probably nervous too. And if you can be the one that leads the conversation, leads the charge, plans the environment to reduce the nerves, at least for yourself, she's going to be picking up on that. One thing that I remind my clients is it's not so much about your nervousness up here. She's picking it up from your body. So if you can bring that energy with your whole body of playfulness, aliveness, fun, safety, acceptance, she's going to be picking up on all of those cues. And whether she is conscious of it or not, going to be able to be more forthcoming with her own animation and her own feminine energy. And that is the information that you're really looking for. That's going to spark the connection and have her want to go out with you again and again. Caveat to this, obviously think about this from a perspective of you don't know this person. A lot of my clients are very outdoorsy men, and she may not feel comfortable committing 4 or 5 hours of her day with a stranger in the middle of the woods. So think about something that is playful, maybe in public. It can be low key. You could go to a library. You could go to a dive bar that has books, or something that is a little bit more of a vibe. I remember I went on a date with someone and we literally went and picked out a book and went and got a drink and read on the patio together. And it was actually so fun and so refreshing because conversation naturally came up based on what we were reading, what we were learning, the things that we were inspired to look at in the bookstore. So get creative. Allow yourself to really let your personality shine. This is something that will be super endearing for her and draw her into a connection where she wants to continue to get to know you. The second thing that I would have you look at, if your connections are not going beyond the second date, is who's leading the conversation. I can tell this very quickly. There's an exercise I do with my one-on-one clients. We can really get into the energetics of the dynamic itself. I know you've gotten her to the date and done the planning, but when you're there, are you willing to lean into the conversation? I'm going to say this as a broad statement, and I know that you probably have this experience too, so I just want to empathize and really level the board here. But a lot of times women are socialized to be the conversation carriers. They're the ones who are filling in the gaps, asking the follow-up questions, wondering how that made you feel. What were your thoughts when you were doing that? What was that experience like? Tell me more. If you are willing to lead the conversation in that way, you can actually direct it wherever you need for it to go. This is something that can be really empowering when you understand what you're looking for in a connection. You can start asking questions that would help you guide the conversation to get the information that you're needing. You want for these things to come up naturally in conversation. And you can actually guide the conversation there so that it's more likely to unfold in that way. For example, if you're someone that's looking for a travel partner, you can start talking about travel and then ask her about her experience with travel. Is that something that she enjoys? Is she more of a homebody? Is she someone that has done a lot of traveling or even done some solo travel? What was that experience like? It opens up an entirely different rabbit hole of conversation for you to go down when you continue to ask the follow-up questions. I have a podcast with my friend Bree, and we talk about the follow-up questions. FUQ. Fucks is the way you're going to remember it. You want to give lots of FUQs. This is something that will be really easy for you to remember as the leader of the conversation. You're the one who's asking the follow-up questions, remembering that she may be needing to be invited into the conversation, and you're just showing that you want her to be engaged in the conversation. This is something that's going to naturally allow her to unfold and soften in your presence. And that's a really good sign. I know for a lot of my clients who tend to have that recovering nice guy element, you probably are really good at listening. And there may be some hesitation on your part to be the one who's only listening and kind of holding the conversation. It's really easy for us to be the one who holds the space and in essence can get away with hiding. And I want to call you forward in bravery. You also get to share what feels comfortable for you. Let it be natural, but also know that you have permission to interject and share what you feel comfortable sharing. This transparency can really help her see you and who you are and what's important to you, just as much as the information that you're getting from her. So remember, it is a dance. Allow it to be a conversation and not just a monologue one way or the other. And that will really go a long way in creating the foundation of the connection for it to continue to build beyond the second date. The third thing that I would encourage you to look at if your connections aren't lasting past the second date is how present you are. The thing that's really surprising to my clients is that being present isn't just about turning your brain off and really focusing on her and being aware of just her. It's actually about being present in your body. This is where having some somatic work can be really helpful because she is actually, whether you know it or not, picking up on the cues from your body, not your head. And this is what's going to allow there to be that escalation of sexual tension as well, because she's paying attention to what's happening in your body, not just what's coming out of your mouth. So the more present you can be in your body, the more that you're going to be able to be responding correctly to the moments as they're unfolding, but also the more that you're able to feel the exhilaration that is happening in her presence and take healthy risks, be the one that is leading the conversation and seeing that as an adventure as it's unfolding. I have a whole video on that. I'll put it in the description if you want to check that one out. The energy that needs to be running through your body if you're wanting to escalate the tension between the two of you and not end up in the friend zone. This is how you do it. We are going to be focusing on being present in your body and allowing there to be this expansion of exhilaration that gives you that edge. These are things that are kind of on the edge of your comfort zone that people don't know about you. Fortunately, she knows nothing about you. So you can be a little bit more edgy of what's either happening in the present moment for you, what the experience is like, or something that felt really enlivening for you earlier in the week. That's something that's going to spark that energy within your body. That's the energy that we want to be bringing to the date. She's going to be picking up on that, and that's going to be naturally a magnetic energy for you to be in. So 3 things you want to keep in mind if your connections aren't lasting past the second date. Figure out what it is that you need from the connection and show up in that way. Create the environment and the context that you need to really thrive and be yourself. Lead the conversation. Take charge. Be the one who's asking the follow-up questions and inviting her to engage with you. No one wants to be sitting across from someone who's just doing all the talking or be the only one who's on stage. Remember, it's a dance. We want to give and take. And the third thing is to really be present with her. Mind and body. We want to be dropping in space available if this is something that you're wanting some extra one-on-one support with. That is what I find most useful, is to really help you drop in and understand in your felt experience what energy we're looking for that's going to create not only that feeling of aliveness for you, but that spark of chemistry that's going to be created with her. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to hear in the comments which one of these you want to try this week. And as always, if there's any other type of content that you'd like to see, feel free to let me know. I love making these videos for you, and I love when you engage with them. That means so much to me. So I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.